He wants to use rap as a positive force instead of influencing teenagers into committing crime.
Hi, my name is Claudia Gazaya.
I'm Jojo F.
My name is Chimney.
I go by the name of Biochemic. Other people know me as K.
It's your boy Rico, aka the Neighborhood Mayor, aka Cutthroat Samurai.
My name is Defcon Lawless.
My name's Antonio.
My name's Richard Soxy Martin.
My name's Shane, Ray, whatever you want to call me.
My name is Charles, and to me,
Street culture is...
Depending on the lens you're looking through, depends on who you're asking. If you're asking kids from the suburbs, it might just be, that young boy joint that just drops, or it might be what people are wearing. If you're from the block, it might be, how resourceful you are and how you communicate with people within your community. But street culture to me is fluid, is what it is.
Like a creative force that comes from a community or a city, and that could be in forms of music, art or fashion. I think they all make a big impact, and it also inspires other cities.
Probably the language of the people, like just the vibes of the people that's actually out there. I'd say maybe even the middle class people, and specifically the most influential demographic of the middle class are the younger generation. That's pretty much what I consider the street culture of today.
Street culture is your environment, I would say, and what that emits, whether it's music, how you dress, the people you're around, the different cultures in themselves that are around you.
to me, street culture is bringing two people together and reuniting all the different cultures and bringing them as one.
For me, like, even just from my experience, it's like being able to make something with very little. Do you know what I'm saying?
What street culture is to me in today's, I guess, society, we can put it in today's age, is the fact that it's all of the small subcultures coming together that sort of make, I guess, the small tribes of people.
Obviously, there's always controversial parts of it. There's the violence, there's the sex, there's the alcohol, but there's the fashion, the energy, the love, just, you know, the pursuit of happiness pretty much, and the relentlessness and the vibe and the human nature to just interact and create.
A lot of the people that influenced me was like just innovating. Like one of my boys, his setup in the, like that he had as a studio was like mental. It was like half of a mixer wired into like 2 sets of speakers, just all wired up himself. So it's just like, for me, it's innovation, like making something big out of something small.
I think it is what you make it to each person, you know? So it's about style, music, what you're into, where you grew up, the people you grew up with. That's what makes up street culture.
Street culture today has toxified the youth to an extent where it's unrecognisable.
Whether you will be urban, whether you're a rapper, whether you're a goth, whether you're a skater, whether you do parkour, whether you like to do street art, and you know, then flying all the way over to if you're street musicians, if you're buskers, if you're street performers, you know, this to me is really what street culture is about. It's these small subs, like I said, and these small eclectic groups of people that have very unique characteristics to them coming together to find their pulse in the street.
It comes out in fashion, it comes out in music, it comes out in the way people express themselves, the way people dress themselves, how you want to communicate with people with the language, the profanities and all of that included, you know what I'm saying? With a tasteful twist because of all of like, you know, ethnic backgrounds and stuff like that. It all comes together and accumulates into like, wow, my brethren and all of that stuff. But most people ain't even from these countries, you know what I'm saying? But it is what it is.
Your upbringing, where I come from, a humble council estate, dragged up from the pits, council estate dinners, getting down to the gym and boxing as and when you can, just being a little shit really, local, keep yourself busy, anything you can to earn a crust, earn some money, and just provide and keep yourself busy.
I am an artist. Actually, first of all, I'm a human. Artist, entrepreneur, a brother, a son, or I could go on for days on a lot of things, but for you guys, I'm an artist and an entrepreneur, I'd say.
And I'm the CEO of Builders and Scrubs. And we are Builders and Scrubs to look to bring the bowl community together and do power. You know what I'm saying? And reignite the whole community and bring everybody in one.
I'm a 25-year-old rapper from Southampton. I grew up in Holyrood Estate from a young age. Yeah, I witnessed a lot, which has made me the person I am today and made me want to make a change and better things for the youth.
Currently just work as an SIA security guard, but I do a lot more in the culture or just for myself. Yeah, I make beats, I rap, I'm trying to put together a little clothing brand. This is my little thing here, it's called Desserts and Debauchery. It's a little combination of my two best things. And yeah, there's many different concepts I'm trying to put together.
So my name's Rico. Like I said before, I go by a few sort of aliases. The main one though that I'm known for in this city is the Cutthroat Samurai. I've been here since 2012. Predominantly I'm known in these streets as a barber, you know, fades to the stars, you know, the best of the blade. That's how they know me. Faded and bladed is sort of the catchphrase we go by, but I've been stomping around these streets since 2012. You know, Southampton to me is a beautiful hub that has a really, really diverse range of people in it.
I'm a producer, engineer and studio owner. I've always lived in Southampton, so I was like born and bred here. Southampton to me, I've got to give a lot of credit to Southampton. I wouldn't really be doing what I'm doing without Southampton. We had like, for me when I was a kid, seeing Craig David blow up to the degree that he did, it was like I couldn't get my head around it. So for me it was like that, seeing someone from my city, from like a similar place as me, like go to not just like blow up in the UK, blow up like America was taking him in. Like it was, for me that was such a huge thing and such a big inspiration. So, and then from that started like a whole culture in Southampton. So
my occupation, creative artist, many different mediums, looking to find new ones. And what the city means to me, growth, man. This is where I developed as an artist. This is where, you know, the community's accepted me. This is where the DEFCON Lawless persona was created, and I wouldn't be the person I am in terms of creatively if it wasn't for these surroundings in this environment. So the city to me is a great underdog story. I think there's a lot of ceiling for people to really shine. I think it's a really good place for people to come together more, perhaps. But I think it's definitely a situation in which, in an arena or an area in which people can really grow. So the city to me is potential.
Probably like 10 years ago now, I came here as a student and studying sound engineering. The vibe of the city was pretty cool to me, it was very accepting. So I came here like, yeah, let's say 10 years ago now, started uni, went through it, probably like took me 5 years to get to the end of that. Through me just growing and, you know, maturing as a young adult, I came from London originally. My family's in London, West London. And yeah, I just didn't want to go back to London, not because I don't like London, but you know, like kind of like cost of living and stuff like that. And it is kind of like full on to me.
The first time I really left the city and went outside, let's say to London, seeing how diverse that culture is and coming back here, I realised that actually we're kind of beating off of the same drum, marching the same path, these two cities together. It's just that we're on a much more micro scale than what London has. For instance, I think who has it best right now potentially could be two cities. I'd call it Brighton and Bristol. I think they have cornered their culture and cornered their street culture and really made it that their city is known as a street. It's a beautiful sight when you go down there, people freely dancing, raving, you've got people on the side of the road spraying up pictures. It's a really nice evolution of how the street culture used to be such a negative thing in most people's eyes, and in the general population's eyes it was seen as a negative, you know, from the boys, you know, free running and doing all their bits, skating and all these sort of subcultures that were deemed as hooliganism or, you know, ASBO based and all these things. It's now changed completely, and actually if you're able to come together and show that these things are for the good for the people, not for the bad, then it seems that the government and the people who are kind of pulling the strings a little bit, the puppet masters, are more willing to play the game with you.
We had rappers, we had all the older lot, like my friend's older brothers, his older cousins, like all doing music, putting raves on, putting shows on. For me, it was just like super inspiring. So yeah, man. So Southampton to me it's a huge part. It's a creative city. It's like a small hub, but we've got a lot of talent. We've got a lot of like exciting stuff. There's a lot of culture in Southampton, so it's definitely like inspiring place. Yeah.
I'm a tattooer, as you all know, an entrepreneur, I like to think. I've been in Southampton about 20 years now. I moved in 2003. I lived in London a little bit before that, but yeah, I've pretty much grown up here. As far as I'm concerned, this is my home now, whether I like it or not.
I think this is a great place for people who may have gotten overlooked to really shine. I think everybody knows the Bristols, the Londons, the Brightons and that, but ain't nobody knew what Holly Grove was until Lil Wayne said something about it. And this has that same type of capability, that same type of potential. So this place is untapped, raw, authentic potential. And I'm really glad that I'm here. Yeah.
I'm a singer-songwriter and mix engineer here at Rhythm Studios in Southampton. The city means a lot because everyone I know here now, all my friends, all my acquaintances are from music, and that's what the city gave me when I started going uni here. I went uni off, and since then I've been immersed in the music scene. I also studied music at uni, and that introduced me to everyone literally in the city.
But yeah, it's a cool place, man. As long as it's not too big, it's not too small. There's a lot of good people here, and if you need to get to other little cities, you're just an hour away from everywhere. It's a good spot for being creative. There's plenty going on. Yeah, it's my home now. That's what this is.
Also the founder of Sin, and my boy Charles over here running the ballers and the scrubs as well, doing the basketball.
Yes.
Killing it if you want to turn up to any of the tournaments if you think you're a baller. How long have you been in the city?
So I came to Southampton in 2012, and the first thing I was introduced to as soon as I moved there was basketball. And I had a few basketball friends that immediately got me like on the basketball team, Castros, which used to get me in trouble with my mum a few times because coming on late, you know what I'm saying? But I was just hooping, man. And then that eventually spot that I did today to start the ballers and scrubs. After a while, due to injuries, so we slowed down. We still hoop on the same team.
Prior to me coming to Southampton, I was living overseas. I was living in Tanzania. That's where like my mum was working. And, just how life came about. Yeah, even though like I came here to the UK, and I kind of was considered as like an international student, even though like my family is all in West London and stuff. I just never grew up in the UK. Taking in the other cultures that I grew up with, and then coming in here, it was kind of like a mishmash, and I loved it. It was great.
I'm a mechanical electrical engineer by trade on big cranes and cherry pickers. That's my full-time job. Dragged up in Southampton, Eastleigh originally, but then moved to Southampton. Always been around on the streets. I now run a boxing club and fight semi-pro. Anything just to keep fighting and keep violence without going back to jail, if we're honest.
Growing up,
Baller.
you know what I'm saying?
Baller.
Yeah, but did our thing on the court, sick little jewel. Now we're taking it and bringing it into the real world.
I'll be real, when I moved around a lot as a kid, so like knowing where and when exact things were was a bit of a blur. Maybe 8, 9, I think, when I come back into Southampton. I mean, I was just always into sport, like, and that's how we met, was through sport. I don't think we ever mentioned it, but it started off as like an unspoken rivalry, like not in a negative. It was like one of the most positive competitive rivalries I've had, and we still have it today in everything we do.
So for me, Southampton had that ability, and that's what made me think, like, you know what, I can make something here. Like, I just need to figure out what that thing is. And when I first started cutting hair, I didn't know that the blessing would be the barbershop. This evolved. You know, people know me for many things, like I said, in the city. Right now we're sitting in our jeweler's showroom. You know, we do grills. Shout out Shreefy and Homer if y'all need to get your grills up. You know, chains, rings, pendants, we do it all, baby. Homemade, homegrown, the best. In the back of my mind, I always remembered, where was it always that people were chopping it up? Where was it you could go and see old, young, get some real good wisdom from an older gentleman sat next to you, and then next to you got a young guy who's coming up who you can pass that wisdom to. And that was the barbershop, really and truly. It was always a hub.
I just got comfortable in Southampton, started showing people my beats and, like, you know, getting out there, trying to show my raps here and there. But never really took it seriously, probably until, like, I want to say 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah, the culture of Southampton is pretty cool. It's got so much potential. It's definitely nothing like London, but you've got room to grow, you've got space to think for yourself. There's so many creative people out there that I've met, so many. Some people don't really know what to do with themselves, so I feel like there's not really much of an infrastructure or an understanding of what to do next. It's just like a free-for-all. Some people just do their TikTok thing, some people do other things, but yeah, the vibe is here. I'm enjoying it. I planted my roots, so to say, so I'm comfortable here now.
We get paid to fight, and I incorporate all that to my young lads and all the lads that fight for me. If we can keep people off the streets and in a gym and provide a safe space for them to fight and to get rid of that inner aggression without getting into trouble, then that's the main purpose for us boys here. Like last night, 2 lads here, 15 years old, turned into men last night. You know what I mean? First time fights on a pro show, a big show in Portsmouth, away crowd, and become men in front of people.
First met each other on opposite teams. Maybe like a year later, we found ourselves playing on the same team. And also, we actually, I'd say our connection as a friendship got closer through music. No one ever used to ask me, but I always used to have my iPod on me all the time. Like, music was always hooked to me. For my own personal reasons, I kind of stayed away from trying to make it myself until recently. But I was always in love with it. It was always in my ear. And one day, for the first time, no one ever used to ask me this, and Charles came up to me, he's like, what are you listening to? It's an album. No, I've never come across anyone. If you know Distant Relatives, you are, listen, shout out to you if you know Distant Relatives, but he saw Distant Relatives, he's like, I know that album. And he started telling me some of the lyrics. I was like, what? Like, this guy knows some of the lyrics. So, yeah.
It's one of those albums that, like, no matter where you show, like, they just seem to not find it. And then one day, yeah, like, that was the only album I had in my iPod at the time, actually.
Yeah.
Like, that was literally the only iPod.
You had limited storage.
Yeah.
You can only pick like
limited storage on the iPod, and then, yeah. And then I saw that he was listening to the exact same album I was listening to, same time. And I was like, yo, this is crazy.
It's actually crazy because...
And then after that, that's just our friendship. And then on the court, we brought it to the court, bringing it out here too. And then music, everything, man.
I think it gets slept on. There's a lot of hoopers in the city, there's a lot of great artists in the city. And there's a lot of stories, as you can see, like even like this is 2% of our story right now, so not even that. So together, let alone as individuals. So think of all the different stories that this city has to offer. Yeah, it needs to be told, and we want to kind of display that through basketball and music. So.
When I landed in Southampton in 2012, I came here predominantly working as a chef, where I started. That was my journey from, 2012 to around 2015, 16. I was running some kitchens over on Oxford Street. Shout out Max's Bar and Brasserie, I was a head chef there, and the White Star was doing a sous chefing job there. So I started this journey for barbering, realistically, that was about in 2015 is when really I took it serious, and I was like, okay, like I need to pick whether I want to cook or whether I want to do this. Definitely don't want to cook no more. I don't wish that upon no one. But chefs will get me. But anyway, 2015-ish, around that time, 15, 16, I ended up going to a shop actually on the same road that we got the dojo now. and it was a shop called Duo Barbers. Shout out to Adam, shout out to the Duo Barber staff. They were the guys that really gave me a chance to step in. You know, my level and where I wanted to take it, I think exceeded what that shop had to offer. But one thing is for sure, he gave me his word. He told me he'll take me on and teach me basics and give me a space to grind. He then gave me the upstairs of his whole shop to turn into my own thing. So on a side note, I owe a lot to Adam, and you know, he'll always have a place in my heart and a place for the dojo where without him really as foundation, it would have never started. I stayed there for about 2 years, and after those 2 years of me being there, we realised that the dojo was outgrowing the space.
So I started music at an early age of 8, and I only started singing at the age of 16 actually. I started back in my home country, Lithuania, where I studied classical cello and piano. Like, it was part of orchestra, so it all started in a whole different genre than what is going on right now for me. And then I went to college here in the UK, school, where I studied music throughout, and uni as well, like I said.
Yeah, so obviously my boss, the guy who taught me, Tom Hagel, that's who I learned under. When I came to see him originally, I was asking for an apprenticeship, and he was just like, yeah, just kind of like blew me off a little bit. He's like, oh, just come in and start hanging around the shop now and again, and then we'll just kind of go from there. But I just took that as an invite to just welcome myself in. So I just said, give me a date and I'll be there. He said, I'll come back next week. And then from that day, I was here at the front door waiting for him to let me in, to sat where you guys are sat, just chilling, till we didn't have a choice but to give me a spot.
So growing up, I listened to a lot of drill music, which is actually what I believe is talks about the youth nowadays. If you listen to drill music, it's all about selling drugs, fucking women, making money, driving the biggest cars. And to be honest, that's not the inspiration youth need. It kind of gives them this get-rich-quick mindset. And I feel like richness is something that has to be earned. And obviously with this get-rich-quick lifestyle, there's a big risk.
And yeah, my inspiration, I think at 16 when I was at college, I was like, right, I want to do music that's I've got more control of. So I want to write my own stuff, I want to start singing. And I kind of discovered that I could sing at college. I was part of bands there, but on cello. And they were like, I was writing the songs for the bands and stuff, and they're like, why don't you sing this one? And I was like, no, I don't do that. And they're like, just go for it. And then there was shows, we had to do shows and stuff. And I went for it, and I really enjoyed it, and just the vibe I got from it. And I literally went home the next day and just continued writing my own stuff on the piano, just a few free chords, whatever. Yeah, I think since then, I knew that I wanted to do something like solo artist, write my own stuff, and it's just more freedom that way.
I left school, didn't know what I was going to do for quite a while. Went into the RAF regiment, jumping out of airplanes for a couple of years. Learned to fight in the RAF, learned I was quite a violent little arsehole. Come out of the RAF, decided it was easier to be violent and take rather than earn, if I'm honest. I did that for a couple of years before my ex got pregnant with my little girl, who's now 9.
Great David blowing up had like a real influence, I reckon, on like how people wanted to do music. Like, it was sort of, because seeing him do it, I think it made everyone feel a little bit like, oh, this is actually like a doable thing. We had a lot of like the older boys like from the area and stuff, like Funky, we had like Armstrong, Ajax, like making like whole tunes, like proper good music. So for me, that was like, I was a fan of like, obviously grime that was going on, that was from London. So I was like a fan of that stuff, but I was like just as much into the rappers of my own city. Like, even that to me, like seeing the older boys like record these tunes and actually have these songs that were like, to my ear at the time, they were like, these are as good as what I'm hearing from London. Like Armstrong, he used to do like funky house, grime, like they was making everything. Like, to me, that was crazy. Got a crack version of FL off one of my boys. Started making tunes off of that. My mum's like laptop that was about this thick.
I had myself, and then I was very blessed to bring on my boy Chris. Shout out to Chris Calvert, you know, Cutthroat Calvert, if he goes by that still, but you know, that's my OG. He got a solid place in here. He always will. And he came on and he believed in what I was doing. At the time, we were both barbers working different jobs. So we very quickly put our heads together, you know, Optimus primed it, transformed into this new being, and we realized that between us, we got the strength and the culture to move it forward. We then picked up a few boys. I've had 12 apprentices so far in my career. I've only been cutting as a full professional about 7-8 years now. So I've done my stint of getting boys in and out. God willing, if he blesses us with more, you know, we've got plans for the second shop at the end of 2024. But, you know, like I say, watch this space, because we got ourselves, you know, we're blessed with 6th Street, we've got all the creative boys around us, all the filmographers, you know, Mr. Wes behind the camera right now, he got it going on as well.
And then it was just a lot of all the monotonous stuff you got to do as apprenticing. You got to be all the cleaning, all the boring stuff the boss doesn't want to do, and just all of that. Just that for a little while, practicing my drawing. And it's just a bit of a process, really. Like, the person teaching you will decide when you're good enough to go and do a first tattoo. You would normally do it on one of your friends. It sucks for them, because they're not going to get the best tattoo. But once you're good, you can repay them with a few good ones. So it's kind of the process. You're just in the shop under someone, teaching you the way, teaching you what to do, how the shop runs. That's the massive important side of it. It's not just about learning how to tattoo. You need to know how to deal with customers, how to essentially run a business, because you're all going to work for yourself at some point.
But yeah, I ended up in prison for 3 years, 9 months, which was hard. So if I could give any message to any youth out there, is to not end up like me. So music is like emotions. So when I'm sad, I'll listen to sad music. When I'm happy, I'll listen to happy music. But I feel like the youth nowadays, all they listen to is drill, all they listen to is one genre. So when you're constantly hearing about stabbings, selling drugs and all these things, it puts your mind in a mindset where you want to do it and you want to repeat those things, because all you hear, it's kind of all you know about.
From my area, like, there was a few of my friends that were like, they were a bit older than me, so they were already doing it. So even seeing how they were doing it, I was just trying to keep up with that. It was like everyone showing each other tunes every weekend, like, look at this beat that I made. It's like, all my friends were better than me. I was like shockingly shit. So I was just trying to be as good as them. So it was like everyone's trying to make better beats than each other. And then there was like all these different pockets in Southampton of like areas doing it. Like Thornhill was doing it, like St Mary's was doing it. I was like from the bottom of Shirley, so I was like right near Mandela Way. Like, that was actually something that I was into when I was younger. Like, seeing all the older lot doing it, that was like crazy inspiring. Seeing Craig David do it.
At that point, I needed to step up, become a real man and a dad, as opposed to being a wannabe gangster in a little town, a little city, Southampton. So back in the full-time work, where I've been 9 years, I've been fighting at high level for 9 years, and the last 3 years I've been running my own club, my own stable here, keeping everyone active and fit.
Yeah, I'd say from when I was in the womb, because my mum always tells me of stories when she would hold like headphones to her belly playing Bob Marley, Park, Erica, Biggie, all these people. So I come out with a love for music, and all these people were quite very much about their community. So naturally it put me on that direction, I feel like.
It started off when I was just working, I'll say. I always felt like I was bigger than just going to work, 9 to 5 job. I always felt like I could maybe have some way to like reconnect with the code, like reconnect everybody. Possibly be part of something bigger. That was my main like focus.
I was apprenticing maybe for about a year, like a solid year, but I did 5 days here. I did 2 days I used to work retail, and then I worked nights as well in a restaurant, so 7 days a week. I was at it for a good 2 years nearly. It's very long, but that's just how it is. If you want to make something happen, you just got to do what you got to do.
I moved to Southampton when I was 2 years old. Yeah, since then Southampton's meant a lot to me. Not only is it the place where I've grown and developed as a man, but it's also the place where I've got a strong community around me. And I feel like that's what you need, especially in the music industry. If you've got a strong community around you, then the world is your oyster.
All my friends are rappers. When we start recording them lot, and then I would like all people coming through from like the unis, so like get people from London and stuff. I just start meeting up with them. So it's like coming through to my mum's house, recording at my mum's house. So it just started kind of like branching out. So I just started branching out, working with more and more people. My older cousin, I started speaking to DJ Ironic, who was like super popping at the time. So like my music kind of like through just knowing people through Armstrong. Big up Armstrong, because like without him, again, he was like a big link for me to like branch out of being just Southampton as well. So I had like a bit of a link between. So I got ironic now. He was like, "Yeah, your beats are hard." So I'm sending him beats. So I'm just like, to me at the time again, he's like huge to me. So that was like cool. Got a route out of the city, and then from then it's just like it's always been important to me to have something here, have a base here. As much work as I do in London, it's always important for me to be rep where I'm from. Every time I meet people, they're like, "Oh, where you travel? Like, what area are you traveling back to tonight?" I'm going to Southampton, mate.
Yeah, pretty much always like music. From as early as I can remember. Sometimes not even just like people rapping, like movie scores and stuff like that. Watching all these movies, some of them are just epic, like Star Wars and like Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park, and all the classics. I've just enjoyed sound really, and then I guess after I started smoking weed and shit like that, then I really started to understand like what these artists are really doing. Like all of the rapping that I heard when I was like 6, 7 came back to me and made so much more sense after I started smoking a bit of weed and that, and I was like, oh shit, like this is like an actual thing.
Well, it all began from day one, really. I was always surrounded by fellow creatives, whether it be my family, my community, etc. And the funny thing is, Southampton draws a lot of parallels to my hometown, a place called Norristown, outside of Philly, where it wasn't Philly, it's not New York, it's not New Jersey, but it was just that place where kind of everybody was really out there trying to get it in different ways and try to express themselves and find their voice. But in terms of this moniker, where I am creatively, DEFCON Lawless persona comes from necessity. It comes from a therapy, if you will. It came from realizing that if I gave people my opinions or my feedback or anything of that nature, there's always going to be some level of people coming back to me when I realized that, you know, the best confidant's the microphone. I realized that if I had an issue or an idea or if it's anything that I was going through, I could speak it into existence, kind of therapize myself and figure that out.
Yeah, I think it's like for both of us, it's understanding from young we knew we were in search of our individual purpose, you know? Like for someone else, their purpose may be a 9 to 5 somewhere else because they got to become a manager of a certain place because it's doing something good in the world and they can take it further, you know? But our purpose just doesn't reside there. So, yeah, is that the right word? Fuck it, it is now.
Fast forward, I'm like 14 or something. I walked to my friend's house. I'm still in Tanzania. I walked to my friend's house after school and he's making beats. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? I've never seen this before. I'm like, yo, this is fucking awesome, man. He's making some like DJ Supreme type shit, like real like classic OG hip hop, and I'm like, I'm loving it. Yeah, he kind of just gave me Fruity Loops, went back home, stayed up all night pressing buttons, not knowing whatever anything was. Like I was super ignorant. I just loved the sound. I didn't even know what a proper drum kit was. Like I didn't know what a snare was. I just know boom clap, but all the intricate hi-hat, open hat, closed hat.
That kind of coupled with just perfect happy accidents, serendipitous situations created this dude, you know, this embodiment of insecurities, this braggadocio, me being able to say what the fuck I want, any tone, any cadence, any way in which I'd like to say it, coupled with my love for art, you know, throw a dash of just, I don't know, just untapped creativity. That's where this dude comes from, you know, like, in fear of sounding pretentious, it's just literally just all the parts of myself that I would keep deep down inside comes out on that stage in those videos, in those tracks, and especially kind of piggybacking off what I said earlier. Since I was in such an environment in which people were open to me trying different things, you said, fuck it, I'm gonna run with it. And that's what this comes from. That's what DEFCON Lawless comes from.
So I just fell in love with the creative side now. I kind of understood how beats were made more. Kind of like the beat patterns and everything else, and I fully like tried to just involve myself in music. Flowered into me coming to uni, and yeah, my mom advised me to just take sound engineering rather than like music production or something. Because the engineering side sounded good, I guess, you know, traditional African parents. Self-investment is always the main key that keeps me going, like buying new equipment, beat packs and whatever, just gaining a certain knowledge, but actual day-by-day beat making, I've kind of fallen back on that. And need to get back into it. But from the beat making, it moved over to the rapping when I was like in boarding school, just with my boys. Every day was like writing new rhymes, rapping, kind of battle rapping kind of vibes and shit. Always trying to get better. And yeah, here we are, just trying to put shit out now, you know, every other day. Go to the studio, make some shit. Maybe I'll make a beat at home. Maybe I'll record like the reference at home, then I'll go to the studio and make it come out perfect and shit like that. But yeah, that's how it kind of developed as a young kid, just fell into it kind of thing. But I feel like the love for music was always there.
I've got a few routes of what I actually do. So I obviously have the studio. I kind of work with a lot of people. I branch out, so I obviously we work with a lot of labels and stuff like that as well. So I do a lot of work outside the city. But as having this studio here, obviously we have like a flow of like independent independent artists from Southampton. So we get a lot of people coming through that are from the city, like a lot of the young lot, like a lot of like younger rappers, a lot of younger artists.
Right, the way I realistically see barbering contributing to the street culture, again, I'm biased because it is my trade, it's my child, it's a thing that made me, you know, get to where I am today. So I think we are more or less the hubs for all the people to communicate. Like we are sort of like what you call a switchboard for the street culture. You know, here, just like back in the day, they would connect calls one dot to the other sort of thing. It's the same, I feel, with a barbershop. People can come in from all walks of life, sit in that chair or sit in that waiting room and chat with people that they never thought they would chat with.
People that know me. I feel like I'm a bit of a hermit and it's not a good thing trying to be an artist, but it's counterintuitive, but that's just like maybe an artist's nature. So for the people that know me, they know I make beats. Some of them want to work with me. I learn from other people as well that are way more talented than me, in my opinion.
I think tattooing is a massive part of street culture, especially now. Whether, you know, it just is, it's obvious. Most people you know now have tattoos. People's mums have tattoos. Clothing is a massive thing for street culture. Clothing is huge. So having a tattoo is like the new coolest bit of clothing you can get. It's your own most customized, personalized thing you can get. So obviously, it's just taken off like that. And it's been fed into street culture, become part of street culture.
Having the studio here it's important for me, like that it's a hub of that as well. And then, you know, you've got these younger artists coming through, but then they might bump into RD in the stairwell. Do you know what I mean? So it's like I want to always make sure that this is like a mix of both. You've got everyone from the city, everyone locally, like coming through, doing their thing, trying to build their thing. Like, yeah, man, try and be a part of the journey.
Shit, you know, hip hop culture, what is it? The 5 pillars of hip hop. So it's like DJing, MCing, graffiti, breakdancing, and it's like knowledge and intellect, and that comes with the rhymes and stuff like that. You know, I kind of consider myself pretty intellectual, so share it, spread it, cultivate it, you know, nurture it with other people, bounce ideas back.
When I see it happen in front of me, it puts like, it's that little smile on my face as I'm cutting hair and I'm kind of out the corner of my eye seeing, you know, and I see some kid come in, you know, got the traditional long black goth hair, he wants his ends trimmed, you know, very, you know, sheepish and shy to be in the shop, not thinking that he's really welcome here because, you know, sometimes people think, oh, that's not my scene. But then I'll get that gentleman walk through the door and then we'll have a girl walk in there also looking to have an undercut maybe done in a design by one of our boys like Joss, for instance, shout out for Whitworth, you know, doing a bust and a nice design in the back of someone's head or whatever. And then on top of all of that, we'll have the, you know, one of my standardized customers come in, you know, who's looking for a nice clean shape up, sharp beard and all that. And those 3 people will be sat on the couch together. And just like that switchboard, they start communicating and finding a common ground. And, you know, even if the common ground is basically y'all have hair that needs cut, it's a start. Because that one factor is usually what stops most wars, what stops most beefs. You don't need to connect on every point. One connection will make you feel more humanized towards that person.
Most of our artists are local artists from here, and there's been a few projects here locally as well that bring people together. And I feel like loads of people make friends via our studio and what we kind of do, even if they just see them on each other's pages or through our pages, and they'll collaborate and be friends. And I feel like it brings people together. It's like a space where everyone comes and they do their own thing and then they end up collaborating. And there's been people coming in session that they've not really met before, but they've seen them on our Instagram and they're like, yeah, we want to work together. They've DM'd each other and then they're local, and then, do you know what I mean?
First of all, we're bringing artists together and make it kind of trying to destroy the ego side of things of, oh, I'm bigger and I'm better than you. The main thing is diversity, and there's a lot of people that are afraid to work with this artist, or they don't want to work with it because they think just because they don't mess with the genre, or maybe they won't even try it, and they'll say that person, nah, they're not worth my time with this, that. Or maybe because some people will have eyes on platforms, and because they're not a big platform, they'll look down on them. And like, we're trying to eradicate that. The way we're contributing by doing these shows, putting other artists on the stage, you know, and giving them a chance to perform, even DJs a chance to show what they can do.
We're keeping all the little shits off the street. We get a lot of young lads with anger issues, ADHD, autism. We no egos in this gym. No one judges everybody, and everybody's there to help people. So whatever your background, circumstances, whether you can afford to pay to train, or whether we just help the community.
I wouldn't say contributing to street culture. I'd say, I don't know, just representing street culture, dude. That's who I am. Like, you know what I mean? I think especially coming up and you know, again, outside of Philly, and you know, having to be around certain situations and being around, you know, and being from that East Coast, you know, where hip hop was created, being around OGs who really got me hip to game. I think I'm representing authenticity. You know what I mean? I'm also making people question, to me, what street culture is. Like, I don't gotta wear a certain shit to be a street nigga for real. Like, I am who I am. I want to rock some Docs and I listen to fucking The Cure. That's me. I'm still. You can't take away where I'm from, and I think it's important for people to get that message. And that's why I said earlier, street culture is fluid. It's not defined. It's defiant. You feel what I'm saying? And that's what I'm trying to represent.
I like to try and portray a message, whether that be talking about prison and certain experiences that I've been through, but in a way not to glamorize it, but to show people the repercussions for your actions. And also about positivity. I feel like everybody needs a bit of positivity in their life, and if I can spread that with my music, then yeah, that is a great thing.
And Borders and Scrubs, what we're doing is, at the moment we're building up a platform for young and upcoming athletes who don't seem to get as much exposure as other places, like let's say London or in the US. So we're trying to build up a platform for exposure for all different athletes, not just basketball as well. Will be football, maybe rugby, table tennis, whatever it is. If we all come together, anything's possible. So that's our main goal, and yeah, so far I think it's working quite well.
It's going very well.
Yeah, it's going very well.
I'm a brag for him. It's going very well.
You know, we're an independent club. We're not granted by anybody. So myself, I run my stable. We run an amateur gym out of here. As a coach, it's our job to provide and help people. We get as many people in as we can and help as many lads, whether it's 6 in the morning I'm here, or 6, 7, 8, 9 at night. And today, like Sundays, we're always here when we need it. It's what we do.
Be yourself no matter where you're from, and understand that you can explore different parts of life and explore different aspects of creativity and explore different cultures and still be you. So yeah, man, I bring an authenticity, I bring a rawness, I bring a realness. You know, I'm from where I'm from. I've been through what I've been through, and I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, one way or the other. It's being perseverant and spreading the gospel, like I said before, man. Just keeping it real. That's me. I am street culture.
Also, I want the young people to be inspired, so when they listen to my music, I want them to think, you know what, I don't have to just rap about selling drugs or this or that to be cool. I could rap about my life, my lifestyle and how it is and the things that I go through, and people out there can actually relate.
Do you know what? I think Southampton's got, I think it's got a lot of potential as a city. I think it's got a massive amount of potential. But I don't think it has anywhere near enough what it should have. Do you know what I mean? Like, it could be a massive city. It could have the same sort of cultures if you went into London. Like, it could have all of that. It's got all the space and all the room to grow and build that. It's just not there yet. I think it needs more influence and more people coming in, like doing things like this. bringing like communities together, like showcasing what's going on in little pockets and things like that. Because there's a lot of cool things going on, but people don't really know it or see it. I think things need to be put out more for people to see like what's going on. Because otherwise they don't know. Because then you have to find it yourself, which is fine if you're in the know and you know like so and so is doing this, or I can go to this person for that. But if you're just general people and you're not really like going out your way to look, you might not find it. You might miss something good.
If I could change anything within the city, I would do more outdoor events to get people involved, whether it be young, old. Let's bring all generations together. Let's bring people from all different areas together and let's all have a good time. Let's be creative. Whether that's filmmaking workshops, beat making workshops, recording workshops for music. Let's enable the youth with a new craft and give them something that they want to do.
If Southampton City Council approached me and they were like, yo, Rico, I want you to have any run, do what you want to change the city, something that's going to benefit the street culture. First of all, it's making the youth of today understand their part to play. Now, this goes pretty much out to my young generation who's watching this, yeah, if any of you are, is that y'all need to understand that for the culture to grow, it's really now, it's in your hands. We've passed the baton on. Like I said, my age group, we're moving forward. You know, we have done what we had to do and we have now passed the baton behind us. And we're now thinking and waiting for you guys to see what you can be, what you can be capable of doing.
I would try and encourage the other routes that we have out. So for example, we have like BBC South. I would love for there to be maybe a few more fixtures in like supporting some of the like more like rap acts and stuff that we have as well, because I feel like it's kind of heavily swayed to like bands and stuff, especially on like the introducing platform. So I would love for them to take a look at a few more things that we have going on in the city, and I guess it would be interesting to see like a bit more support for like the arts in Southampton.
Yeah, I think the easiest way and best way to do it is to have like something like a convention. Yeah, so I go to a lot of tattoo conventions, and it's basically that's a showcase of everyone's work from all around the world. So you get to see a little bit of everything from everywhere. Things you wouldn't have seen before because they're in another country, another city, and things like that. Essentially, like a convention style meet up or whatever, could be like a quarterly thing or a regular thing, but you would just have everyone from their own little thing together at one time, just doing their thing, and the city will have to come and see, because it's just a way of bringing people together. You just have, I think something like that is a good way of adding to it, do you know what I mean? And getting things moving.
Power is in numbers, you know. All it takes is 5 like-minded people to take over a capital, to take over a country. You know, it's small numbers that make the difference. But the difference is thought process. It's where your mindset is. If your mindset's aligned, the strength is super strong. But again, a lot of people think, well, all my boys from this culture, they're not mindset right. And all my guys from this culture, all my girls from this culture. But that's where you're getting it wrong. This generation needs to understand it's not about just you and your group. It's about finding the one in your group and the one in another culture, connecting those two people together and realizing that those two people are the ones that can start making the strength. That's what we try to do here as well, you know, is bringing the like-minded, strong characters of each subculture and go, okay, you and you need to link up and figure out what's going on. That would be my first push, is to make sure that the younger generation know they have a part to play now. And if y'all don't want to do anything about it and y'all don't make a step in the right direction, unfortunately, nothing's going to change.
It's hard to say really, because again, I would just say maybe like support for people trying to start some stuff. So I mean, I don't know how that works, you know, in regards to how they could maybe support them financially and stuff, or maybe put like programs in place to support people that are trying to start stuff in the city, maybe.
Self-awareness, bro. I think people need to understand self-awareness, whether it's on an individual basis or a citywide aspects. I think that a lot of times when you're involved in an echo chamber, people giving feedback, and it's the same feedback, and it's the same thing. You can't expect to do the same thing and get different results. They're doing the same thing from the same groups of people, not branching out, and not being self-aware of the improvements in which you can make, and not understanding the resources that you have. You're not going to be able to progress as a whole. I think the number one thing to do is step back, look in the mirror, see what you actually have. What can you do with the resources of what you have? And that's a wider question, you know? What can the city do for the individual artists here? What can artists do for the city? It's not a one person versus the other. There needs to be a symbiotic relationship with it.
Funny enough, more culture. We need more festive, more activities. I think Southampton's quite a bland place. It's just retail. People only come to Southampton if you're going on a cruise or you're shopping. Fundamentally, there's nothing in it. There's no, like Basingstoke, you got ice skating. Southampton, we got West Quay, and there's nothing in there for kids to do. Soft play, that there's nothing about. Activity parks, it's far and few between. We just lack anywhere to take your kids, and anywhere you do take them is really expensive. Southampton isn't full of money, to be fair. So I think you need more cheaper or activities somewhere for people and kids to go that can't generally afford to spend a fortune or travel far.
Legalize it. Yeah, so I legalize weed just anyways, straight up, that's my main thing. I feel like everyone just needs to take a path. Obviously it's not for everyone. Some people maybe don't need it. But for the people that use it with responsibility, I feel like they should be left alone because they're not killing anyone except for their own lungs. I know there's the argument about going mental or the insanity, whatever claim, but I feel like as responsible adults, we should know ourselves and know better.
If you're an artist and you're working your ass off, you're doing your thing, and it's not working for you, that doesn't mean that the city or the culture owes you anything. That might mean that you're not tapping into the right place. You know, I found that you got to be able to be aware of who you are and to know where you're going. What the fuck is this place? Like I said, it's untapped potential, but what are we potentially trying to work towards? And I think self-awareness and looking towards that ultimate definition collectively. How to achieve that? I don't know. If I knew that, I would execute. We're still trying to figure it out, but that takes communication. And that takes, above all else, honesty as well.
I feel like any city needs more funding for arts and music. I feel like anywhere it's always a bit overlooked because a lot of people don't see it as a serious job, do you know what I mean? Or it's just like a hobby. But for most people it is a serious thing, and it can be a serious thing and a normal day-to-day day job. So I feel like more funding for projects. I feel like the Soko music project's really good that happens in Southampton, and like we've worked on all the albums each year, and again it brings all sorts of ages together, and they've never been in the studio, let's say, and they get to experience that, and then they see, oh okay, music isn't all about, you know, what they hear on the radio, what's cool on social media. It's, I can actually be part of it and express myself in ways maybe I can't at home or whatever. So I feel like, yeah, more funding maybe for music and arts. That's a big one, yeah.
You look at all the festivities, all the stuff in Hoglands, all over the parks, everything's generally £7.50, £10 a ticket, and most families down in Southampton are like either a single mum with 3 or 4 kids, and they just generally can't afford to take their kids somewhere. You know, I'm fortunate that I work hard, I've got money, and I look after my little girl a lot, but I see a lot of people that struggle and generally can't afford, and when it's raining, where do they take the kids? They just sit at home, sit on the iPad, sit on TikTok, and it's no good. It's no good. It needs somewhere more accessible for families or single parents to get their kids out, and there ain't nothing about it.
Just that alone, I feel like in certain gigs and stuff like that, people can have more fun, people can enjoy themselves, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. People will come together and just be more creative without a little bit of drama over their shoulder about X, Y, Z, police coming or whatever. And even when other people want to put on gigs or put on shows, if you're seen as a weed smoker, there's all of that pressure, all of that bad energy or bad talk that will come to you, and you probably get denied. And again, when it comes to calling other artists to come down here, you know what I'm saying, it's all a bit, but I know that Bristol kind of has a more laid back attitude towards it, and look at their city, it's developed and nurtured their sound, and now they have a massive culture, and everyone knows Bristol's awesome. You know, you could go around puffing and jaying, generally won't get any trouble.
Give me the correct team and a club, and what shall I do? Just, yeah. Give me a team to help me run the club and market it. It's raps. For every city, including London. If we could be funded a form of salary, you know, and we could show a business plan that shows that we can distribute the money correctly and kind of create a foundation for the business ideas that we have, I feel like naturally the city would just grow. There's so many ideas, but a lot of people get discouraged with the lack of support in their ideas. So,
and that's the support we're trying to build right now, like with all the platforms we've got going on. So Ball and Scrub, like I said, is going to be a platform for for mostly exposure, for whether it be sports, whatever it is we're doing. Same thing with Sin, it's a platform for exposure.
with him saying that, we're given so much, right? We're given so much when, in all honesty, if I'm being 100% real, we don't have much to give, and we're still given more than what you could say maybe the government's given the street culture. We got people in our community like myself, Charles, Alex, 6th Street Ballers and Scrubs and Sin, giving so much. At the end of the day, we've all got our own lives. Some of us have kids, some of us are looking after our siblings, some of us are like, it's life, you know? We've got our own lives and we're still trying to give from a place of not having much. All we're asking for is a little bit of support, really.
The local council need to invest more in the youth. So whether that be these outdoor events that I was on about, whether it be a monthly hip hop night in Southampton, just to embrace the culture, but do it in a way where people have to come with clean lyrics. So we're not out here advertising crime or anything like that. It's all about positivity. Or even youth clubs. Let's bring back youth clubs.
Give it to the future. You know, pay them teachers top dollar. Make sure these kids have access to information. When they're done getting to that information, where are they going to put it? More, I think that most cities start after school programs, et cetera, Get these kids in an academy, man. You know what I mean? Get them a whole academy where we're talking performance art, where we're talking, I don't know, man, it's like, God, sports, everything. Give them the best of the best. Get them set up for the future. Starts with the kids. Secondly, start getting programs to where you're bringing people from outside the city in here, whether it be a dope venue, like this one that we're in here, more of them. Do you know what I mean? There needs to be a hip hop hub, you know? There needs to be discussion. And you know what? Get it tied in with the 2 universities we got here. It's a very educated area. What can we do? What programs can we put in place to make sure the youth in the future are on point? You know what I'm saying? That's ultimately what I work for. No matter what I do, and what I'm talking to you about right now, it all comes back down to my kid. So I want to make sure my kid and the rest of everybody else's kids, your kid, all of them, are able to eat and do things in the future. I think in order to push that message of almost like artistic immortality, you got to get it ready for the next generation. Give all the money to the damn kids, all infinite amounts of pounds to them. Give it all to them, and pay them fucking teachers. If we can pay football players, pay them teachers too. Isle of Wight's just across the fucking water. They got a banging ass festival. Bring one here. And there's the what's it called? Common People. That's cool. Do a hip hop orientated one. I want A-listers coming to this motherfucker, dude. You know what I mean? I want the OGs coming there. I want Gangstar and them coming through too. You know, I want Wu-Tang coming here. I want this to be the place where it's, oh man, that's untapped.
We have a beautiful city here with beautiful buildings, really old buildings as well. Ones that unfortunately you're seeing being torn down, being left to fall apart. You know, we have the old bar gate, we have the old walls, we have these beautiful buildings, old banks, things that great places that our cultures from hundreds of years ago that we don't want to lose. Like, you know, you never want to forget where you came from. You just want to evolve where you're going, right? So it's one of those ones where I would love for the council to give us the ability to take some of these buildings, put some fresh life into them, and to get in there and to be able to put something fresh, something upbeat, something new, whether it be from a barber shop, for instance, or something as simple as, a coffee shop that does some things that no one else does, or, simply putting these communal hub points in these places that we want to breathe new life back into, But that would be my main thing. If I had that line to a councilman now, I'd say, give us some old buildings, let us do something with it. And for the younger generation, I'd say, guys, step up or step out. You know what I mean? Because you can't sit there complaining about things you're not willing to do nothing about, yeah?
Honest, I think the youth's too busy selling drugs and too busy on social media, caring about image than looking to a future. After lads and youngsters that initially come through the gym, come in with a chip on their shoulder, don't want to do anything, think they're owed something. after a couple of weeks or a couple of months in the gym, that their whole persona, the attitude changes, the chips on their shoulders gone. Youngsters nowadays need to take more responsibility for their own actions and aspire to be something, whether they've not got the upbringing or the father figure, parent figure, an adult figure to aspire to have more or access to do more.
For the younger generation, and like I said, I work with loads of young people here, I feel like the common thing that can happen, you fall into this pattern of you want to be like the crowd, you want to be like everyone else. That's a lot of social media. So one of my biggest advice for anyone, artists or just anyone in any industry, is try and find something that you really love doing, something that's unique to you, no matter what your friends are doing.
In Southampton, I've noticed, to my knowledge, there isn't much like support or open places to be creative, like maybe like a youth culture or maybe like a youth club for the younger kids and stuff like that, and maybe like an open studio for people to go and just develop their sound in a certain way.
It's just a shame, they don't seem to want to do anything. They think they're owed a future, and the way I was dragged up, if you want something, you've got to earn it, or unfortunately take it. You know, it's not great.
If you want to be taken seriously, you have to take yourself seriously first before someone else will. So that'd be my main point to the young generation. Guys, take yourself seriously, step up, do what's right for your cultures and do what's right for your next human being as well. And let's just try unify ourselves, create a nice space for everyone and just come and have a good time, you know what I mean? Just like the dojo.
Find something you love doing, hone that, and no one can take that away from you. If you follow the crowd and if you're doing the same as your mates are doing because you think it's cool, there's 10 of you doing the same thing. You know what I mean? So it's not true to you. And I feel like for artists, let's say, your fans or your listeners, they will see through the fakeries. So you have to always be true to yourself, down to what you're writing about, how you act, and yeah, in any other job description, I think find something that you love doing, stick to it, really lose yourself in it, and see how far it can take you in a few years.
For me, it's very simple, and it's the fact of just be honest with yourself on what you like, but also be honest with yourself on how that then extends through into your life. You know, at the end of the day, like say like drill music isn't great for maybe the younger generation, but at the end of the day, there's some drill artists and they're just speaking their truth. I support that, to be honest, because that's just some people's truth at the end of the day. What I don't fuck with is then the drill artist where he's talking wax and it's nothing to do with his life. You're just adding fuel to a fire that you don't understand.
So my message for the youth is to just be yourself. Don't try to follow the latest trend. Don't let yourself get pressured into anything. Just be authentically you, whatever that is. Feel free to be yourself in any environment and be part of your community. I feel like community is a strong thing, and once you feel part of your community, you feel a lot better as a person.
As cliche as it sounds, be yourself no matter what. Be a leader and learn to take criticism. Because not everybody's gonna fuck with your shit, but you still gotta persevere, you know? I think that's, it's not belittling certain shit, but make sure people are not all gonna mess with what you like and how you get down.
As far as what would I say to them to do? It's just that first step. It's just people, like, a lot of people have plenty of ideas, good ideas, things they want to do, but that idea will probably just forever be an idea if you just don't go out your way to actually do it. So if you just say, oh, I want to go and learn how to rap, or I want to go be a rapper, or I want to go make clothing, or I want to go and be a tattooer, but you don't go and ask every shop in the area to give you a little spot, where if you don't make the right steps for it, if you don't make that first step, it's not going to happen. So that's what I say. You need to go, whatever idea you have, you just need to go and try and do it. And if it doesn't work out, you're still going to learn something from it. So you just go again. And it's that until it works out.
So to encourage next gen, what we've started to do, my brothers and scrubs, is start hosting events for the next gen to get them all in one spot and then keep them away from certain distractions and certain things that may intoxicate the way they may view the world, or may intoxicate the way they might deal with a situation coming into the future, And then our ballers and scrubs, what I'll try and do, what I'll try bring in coming in the future, how to apply those same basketball court lessons into real life scenarios. So the same discipline you apply on the basketball court, the same teamwork you're applying on the basketball, and then coming up in the real world and applying that same thing. But that's about it. Yeah.
It's hard work, man. Like you got to be focused, and I feel like you've got to want to do something. Like that has to be a focus, and I can only speak from the perspective of like the arts. But what I would say with that is you have to have a focus on what you want to do, and you actually have to like follow through with it and make sure that you're willing to you understand the work that needs to go into getting to this goal or creating this thing, or whatever project it might be. A lot of the attitude I hear from like younger artists maybe and stuff like that is like that it's difficult to do it from the city, but I just think if you follow something through, if you actually work at it, push for something, like there's so much opportunity out there now. So find your focus, find your passion, make those things meet in the middle, and then like grind until it happens.
Just learn that, take that criticism and apply it to your future work. Take that criticism, use it as a fuel, and the praise that you get, take it with a pinch of salt as well. You know what I mean? Because you got to understand, not everybody who praises you is your homie, and not everybody who gives you criticisms is an enemy.
I got one rule: make your own rules, build your own game, collect your own tools. They wanna eat from your table cause the roster full. Ain't no room for you here, the roster full. Full-fledged rock stars, Rockefeller for his jewels. Calm and collected, I keep it cool. Freeze for the camera, I take my prof, I ain't want a stool. Stalk the money, if it grew on trees, I'll just wait till full. Call it God's timing, nature so divine. When whining and dining, the fruits of your labor do have you feeling vibrant. You to blow and turn titan. Yeah, trust I'm not the one you wanna be biting. It's just principle, it's just principle. Better pipe down before I knock you off your pedestal. It's just principle, it's just principle. Better pipe down before I knock you off your pedestal. You can't draw out the demon in me. Way too blessed to be caught in the heat. Do this for my people and not for the peas. Cause I got principles sticking with me. Yeah, I feel the weight on my shoulders of the people pleading for help. Pressure producing these diamonds and mining within myself. Patience and time, and I can't be waiting on the wishing well. For the team I'm climbing and chucking dimes just to wish them well. Hear what I'm saying? I'm above heads, I'm Himalayan lines that landslide from all of the spit that I'm spraying. I'm praying I don't project my problems onto my people that need repaying. It's just principle, it's just principle. Better pipe down before I knock you off your pedestal. It's just principle, it's just principle. Better pipe down before I knock you off your pedestal. You can't draw out the demon in me. Way too blessed to be caught in the heat. Do this for my people and not for the peas. Cause I got principles sticking with me. Yeah, I got principles, I got principles. Better pipe down before I knock you off your pedestal. I got principles, I got principles. Better pipe down before I knock you off your pedestal. I got principles, I got principles. Better pipe down before I knock you off your pedestal. I got principles, I got principles. Better pipe down before I knock you off your pedestal.